Thinking about a Nissan X-Trail? Well, you're not alone. The X-Trail is one of the best-selling mid-sized SUVs in Australia, and the company claims that it was the best-selling SUV in the entire planet last year, but that also includes the Rogue, as it's known in some other markets. And now there's this model, the N-Sport, a limited edition version of just 600 examples, and it builds on the mid-spec ST-L grade. So, what's changed and what hasn't? Let's go through it. The N-Sport is based on the ST-L grade, which is the midpoint in the X-Trail range. You can get it in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and the price changes depending on which version you pick. Read the review for full pricing details. The exterior changes are essentially a black pack. You've got 18-inch black alloy wheels, plus black mirror caps and black roof rails. As well as that, you'll find a body kit at the bottom of the car. So it's a painted front section at the lower bumper and also painted side seals. And on the rear bumper, there's another section. It's almost like a diffuser at the back. There are 4 colours available, including diamond black, gun metallic, brilliant silver and ivory pearl, so the changes may not be huge outside, but they're even less inside. Being based on the ST-L, there are quite a few niceties in the cabin, including heated leather seats up front, plus you get sat-nav and a surround view camera. But Nissan hasn't quite kept up with the times in terms of connectivity. There's no Apple CarPlay and no Android Auto, but you do get Bluetooth phone and audio streaming, plus USB and auxiliary points to plug your devices in. It isn't a bad space. There's plenty of storage options, including bottle holders in the doors, cup holders up front, and some loose item bins here and there, including one in front of the shifter, which is great for your phone. Now, what about the back seat? Space in the back is pretty good for the class. I'm a 6-foot tall guy, and this seat is set in my driving position, and I've got heaps of room to sit behind it. Lots of knee room, heaps of toe room as well, and good headroom. You can fit 3 people across the back here really comfortably, plus there are those essentials like ISOFIX child seat anchor points and top tethers as well, and there are rear air vents to keep people cool on hot days like today. While some versions of the X-Trail come with 7 seats, the N-Sport doesn't. That's not a big deal though, because these seats slide fore and aft, so you can increase your boot space if you need to, or just sit closer to the person in front of you if that's your thing. The boot is sizable, with a capacity of 565 litres and a clever dual floor system too, which is very family friendly. As for safety, every X-Trail comes with auto emergency braking, plus 6 airbags and a reversing camera. The N-Sport, being based on the ST-L, includes rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring and a surround view camera too. Now, what about how it drives? I guess one of the biggest things about the X-Trail is that it doesn't excel in any particular area in terms of the way it drives, which is both excellent because it means that it doesn't upset you in any particular way either, but it's also terrific because, you know, it appeals to a lot of different buyers. It doesn't try to be sporty, and it doesn't try to be too soft or too squishy on the road either, and that's a good thing. What it means in terms of the actual drive impression that you get is that the steering is fine. You know, it'll do exactly what you think it should be doing. When you're applying lock, it'll turn at low speeds. It doesn't have any weird heaviness or dead patches. It's pretty well sorted, but it doesn't set any new standards in terms of involvement. As for ride comfort, again, not bad. The ride is pretty well sorted. I mean, I've been driving over some pretty bumpy sections up here in far north Queensland, of patchy roadwork sections and also a little bit of dirt here and there. I had no issues with it. But I will say that in the back seat it isn't quite as comfortable as it is up front in terms of ride comfort. The engine, 2.5 litre with enough power and torque to get the job done, but again, nothing special. It does exactly what it should do, and that is move people and their stuff really easily. The automatic does a really good job of harnessing the power because there isn't a whole lot of grunt there. And some other SUVs in the market, you know, might be more appealing to drive in terms of what they offer under the bonnet, but this just gets the job done. And that's pretty much all you can ask of a mid-sized SUV that isn't trying to be any sort of pretender. As for fuel economy, well, you guessed it, it isn't brilliant and nor is it terrible. We saw about 8.5 litres per 100 k's over a few hundred kilometres of mixed driving over the last few days, including some twisty sections of mountain road, plus some stop-start traffic here and there. It's fine. I don't know how many times I can say that. It's fine. But what if you don't want just fine? Well, there are other alternatives out there that you might want to consider. A 2.5 litre CX-5, for example, is a bit more fun to drive. The next generation Forester and RAV4 will be two to look out for as well. But if you need a budget, family-focused, mid-size SUV that doesn't necessarily have the frills but still will do the job, yeah, you could buy an X-Trail and you could be quite happy with it. So, should you buy a Nissan X-Trail N-Sport? Well, if you can get your hands on one, then it wouldn't be a bad buy at all. There's a reason that this car remains one of the most popular mid-sized SUVs in Australia. It's because it's hugely practical and also really good value.